Well, I suppose I've always been brought up in a Christian home, and I've always been around parents that have had Christianity in the home. But I think as a successful businessman, I always had time for family, but I really spent my time in business. It was about 5 days before my 50th birthday that I was at home, and I collapsed on my way to the kitchen to get the keys. The next thing, I was in hospital. I don't remember anything after that, but I had suffered a seizure, and that moment changed my life forever. Going from a massive organization with 10 factories, 1,300 people under me, I was sort of reduced to rubble, if I had to put it that way. I met a young man in hospital when I was there, a young little guy called Santi, and some of you in the church might know of him. Through Santi, this little kid who had suffered multiple hemorrhages in his brain, we developed a fond relationship, and I supported him and his family, and through that grew my faith. But the one thing that I have started doing in my life is spending a lot of time praying. I think when we started our new business venture, we decided up front that the business was going to be based on Christian principles, that the kingdom investors type of concept was going to be what we were going to do. When you open a business and you go God's direction and you make those decisions up front, one will be surprised at the directions that things take. We managed to land the prime license agreement for Africa and Indian Ocean Islands. And I think the one thing that it's done for me is all the base foundations that we set up using the kingdom investors thinking is now coming through in the way we operate with this product. We've decided right from the beginning of the start of our new venture, about 3 years ago, to sow back as a company into places like Kigani Yami. So right from the beginning, we got the principles right, and we do that up until today. I've continued to use the brand in my business from 2016, which is called Legacy. I'll hopefully continue this legacy for many years to come and pass it on to my kids. What's happened to me is words have become very important. So the word that came to me recently, which has really changed things, is forgiveness. And so for me, there was issues within my family that had to be sorted out. I reached out to one of my brothers who I hadn't spoken to for a very long time. And God really spoke to me about some restoration that had to take place. And what I did not know is that his medical aid was not paid up, and he requested some assistance from me. And I must admit, at the time, I gave it without any issues whatsoever and paid money into his bank account. He sent me a note to say that he had paid his medical aid. 2 to 3 days later, I got a message that he had been rushed to hospital and diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and he was in a critical state in the ICU. It just reaffirmed something in my heart, that God had spoken to me despite anything that anyone was saying to me about whether I was doing the right or wrong thing. I was obedient, I listened, and he's recovered now. And I think when God speaks to you as an individual, you must listen to it as an individual and not listen to the noise that happens around you. I challenge anyone out there to not just go to church on Sunday, but look at other ways that you can invest your time, definitely in the prayer. Take some time out of your week to be with the right people. The Kingdom Investors on a Friday morning is a fantastic opportunity. And it's only when you take those scriptures and you fulfill them through your actual workings on everything you do in your daily life, that things like your marriage, your business, your relationships with family, and that come right.